Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's chilling, mysterious, and absolutely captivating. Forget your average ghost stories. This one involves a grave that breathes, not figuratively, folks. I mean asterisk. Literally, asterisk. Imagine, if you will, a remote English village tucked away in the misty corners of North Yorkshire. A place so quiet, it feels like time forgot it. Welcome to Coldbridge. Coldbridge is one of those timeless communities, all ancient stone cottages, and a churchyard that has seen more centuries than most of us have seen Christmases. But it's not the history that draws people's hushed whispers here. It's a specific grave. The Martha Bell grave. Every local knows it. It's nestled at the far end of the cemetery, overshadowed by a gnarled, broken yew tree. Oddly, no flowers ever bloom there. No birds ever perch. And when the snow falls, it's always asterisk. Always asterisk. The last spot to freeze over. Our story truly begins in December 1962. It was one of the harshest winters England had ever endured. A brutal cold that bit to the bone. Albert Shaw, the village gravedigger, was out early, chipping frost from the headstones, when he saw something peculiar. A faint mist, like warm breath, was rising from the ground near Martha Bell's plot. Intrigued, he leaned closer. The earth beneath her headstone felt distinctly warm to the touch. Then he heard it. A soft, steady huffing sound, like someone breathing just below the soil. Albert, rational man that he was, first thought it was just gas escaping, a natural phenomenon. But as he pressed his ear to the cold ground, he swore he heard something else. A faint, rhythmic heartbeat. Albert never told a soul about it that day. Not at first. But the grave had a secret it couldn't keep. Over the years, others started noticing the same eerie phenomenon. The church gardener, the local priest, even brave school children daring each other to touch the strange grave. Every winter, without fail, the mist would rise, and a faint pulse could be felt through the earth. It became Coldbridge's own whispered legend, a part of its very fabric. Then, one year, it just stopped. Poof. Gone. That was the winter of 1979. The same year, a terrible storm brought down the old church. The villagers, resilient as ever, rebuilt it, and as the decades passed, the breathing grave became just another charming, spooky tale for tourists and late-night poop. The breathing grave, they'd say with a chuckle. Just an old wives' tale. But legends, true ones at least, have a way of resurfacing. In 2014, a young, ambitious journalist named Clara Davies from London arrived in Coldbridge. She was there to write a feature on English ghost stories, hoping to unearth something unique. The locals, predictably, regaled her with tales of headless horsemen and spectral ladies, dismissing the Martha Bell story as mere folklore. All except for one man, an elderly church caretaker named Thomas. He took Clara aside, his voice barely a whisper, and told her, "It's not a story, Miss, it still breathes." Clara, a true journalist driven by curiosity, couldn't resist. One December evening, armed with a thermal camera, she ventured into the silent, frosty graveyard. The air was so cold her own breath plumed visibly. She made her way between the ancient stones until she reached Martha Bell's grave. The thermal camera, a silent witness, captured it instantly. A distinct plume of heat rising from the otherwise frigid soil. Her voice on the recording, barely audible, trembled with a mixture of fear and excitement. "It's warm. I can feel it. It's locked in," she guessed, a raw, choked sound. "Oh my God, it's moving." She described the sensation vividly. The ground beneath her hand wasn't just warm. It was shifting, rhythmically, expanding, contracting, breathing. It was undeniable. Clara, now completely engrossed, returned to the graveyard 3 nights in a row, documenting everything. On the 4th night, she placed an audio recorder by the grave, leaving it to run for 2 hours, hoping to capture something even more profound. What she captured would never air in her documentary. In fact, the footage and recordings were confiscated when Clara Davies mysteriously vanished the following week. Her disappearance rocked Coldbridge and sent shockwaves through London's journalistic circles. But a police report, quietly leaked online months later, detailed the chilling contents of that audio recording. At first, there was only the gentle rustle of the wind, then faint, almost imperceptible, whisper. A woman's voice, muffled, but chillingly clear. Too cold. Still here. Experts, of course, tried to rationalize it away. Condensation, underground air currents, the usual scientific explanations, but the people of Coldbridge knew better. They knew Martha Bell's story. It was a tragedy etched into the very soil of the village. Martha Bell was a midwife in the 1800s, a kind woman who selflessly helped women through childbirth, especially those shunned by doctors. But one bitter winter, a wealthy family, grief-stricken by the loss of their newborn, unjustly blamed Martha. Accused of witchcraft, she was brutally beaten and locked in her own cottage, which was then set ablaze. By the time the villagers arrived, it was too late. She was buried that very night in the churchyard, still clutching a small child's blanket. A century later, her grave still refused to freeze. The villagers say, the earth remembers. They believe some souls, buried in anger, cannot rest, their bodies holding onto a trace of life, a flicker of breath that simply refuses to die. The mystery deepened in 2017, following Clara's disappearance. The cemetery was sealed off, and an investigation was launched. Martha Bell's grave was finally but as workers began to dig, something truly bizarre happened. The ground beneath the headstone didn't just open, it collapsed inward, hollow, like a lung deflating. At the bottom of the pit, there was nothing. No coffin, no remains, just a void. Empty. All they found was a small, charred corner of what appeared to be a baby's blanket. That very night, the old caretaker, Thomas, the one who told Clara the grave still breathed, quit his job. His resignation letter was simple, ending with a single, unsettling line. The grave doesn't breathe anymore, but the wind does. Today, the Coldbridge Cemetery remains abandoned, its gates locked, its secrets guarded by time. But locals will tell you that when the heavy winter fog rolls in, you can still see a faint mist rising from that one corner of the yard. And if you're brave enough to stand there in the silence long enough, you might just hear it, that faint, shivering breath beneath your feet. They say, Martha Bell isn't trapped beneath the grave anymore. She walks between the headstones now, forever searching for warmth, whispering through the frost. And every time snow falls on Coldbridge, it never, ever settles where she stands. So, the next time you find yourself in an old, quiet graveyard and see a mist curl from the ground, don't lean too close, because what you think is just the wind might just be the grave exhaling. What an incredible and eerie story. Have you ever heard of anything like this? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysterious, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more chilling tales, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the unknown. Thanks for watching, and stay spooky.